Hey, everybody, welcome to Church History for Chumps. My name is John Sim, and I'm here with Thomas the Tank Engine Duell and Taylor, I hardly know her, Treadway.
Oh my gosh. Good job.
How you guys doing?
I'm back from Myrtle Beach,
Myrtle Beach. Where's that?
South Carolina.
Did you go to the beach?
Yeah, it was like the event was like on the beach.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
Now,
I thought your head was looking a little chapped, so that
Oh no, I got a skull shaver. Maybe they could sponsor us.
that's the name of the brand?
you're extra
Yeah,
smooth right
so
now.
a skull shaver is like John Simon, aren't you bald too?
I'm shaved, thank you. I don't like to
Yeah.
be like slick bald, but I like the fuzz. Let me see.
So do you use a cropped? Do you use like just like your regular shears?
Yeah, I
Shears?
use a trimmer, dude. I hate the freaking round. It
I
just I hate it. It takes
it's
so
so much
long.
faster. Nope, it's
It's not
faster.
fast. It is not faster.
Well,
It's not.
would you buy like a $20 one from,
No, I bought a
you know,
good one. I bought off of Amazon, so Lord knows, what
well,
tiny hands put mine together, but
Mm.
I don't know.
Mm.
Well, but you
tiny
have a skull
Chinese hands.
shaver. So would you recommend it?
Yeah, I would. I would.
Okay.
Any bald
What's a
guys
skull
listening?
shaver?
It's just the name of the brand.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Any bald guys listening, and you're like tired of
It's just
taking the shears, use.
I was just
skull shaver.
picturing like a razor, like you shave your face with, but it's like this wide and it's curved to fit like your head.
Oh, that sounds dangerous,
Sounds like a torture device.
dude. No, it's like
You just get
local
the whole thing in
Ontario
one
man
swipe.
scalps himself.
Local man. So I used to when I first went bald, when I first chose bald, thank you, because it's a choice.
No, shaved.
No.
When you
When I
chose-
first
yeah.
chose bald,
Okay.
I was really like committed to being one of those like straight razor guys. And dude, my wife had to ban me from it because she used to call it the potato peeler because I'd just be doing real well, and then all of a sudden, and it's just like a pencil sharpener, dude. It's just
Dude, and they
Walking
bleed.
around like Hitman with a super bald head and a band-aid.
Yeah, bro. When you nick yourself in the head too, it just bleeds forever.
Yeah, and it hurts. It hurts a lot.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
there
it
you go.
sucks. That's actually, yeah. We'll have that be our prompt for our commenters today. Are you bald, and do you think you will be? Let us know in the comments below.
Comment on Spotify. You can find us on Facebook or Instagram, and we are on YouTube.
Facebook or
now.
Instagram, you can post a picture and we can decide.
That's right. We'll let you know.
That's a good
We'll let you
idea.
know if you're going to be bald.
Thomas,
That's
I feel like you've got those good old Scandinavian genes.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh my gosh! Oh,
look at it.
looking
Yeah,
perfect,
it gets
bro. You've got the.
If I cut it shorter, I can tell it's starting to lose a little bit right in the front.
Dude, I
but
had that hairline when
I think my
was
dad
19.
was bald. Yeah, I think my dad was balding pretty good by this age, and I think that you get your hair genetics from your mom's side actually. So I think I'm in the clear.
Yeah, dude, you're a blessed man. You got that Latino hair, but only blonde instead. God.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's called Swedish.
No, it's beautiful, man. Great job. Yeah,
your
Taylor.
little Hinga Dinga Durgan genes have paid off.
Yep,
That's right.
Yep.
All those years of eating that
Wheat,
that vinegar
pickled
fish.
herring, and
yeah, that's right, gefilte
Yeah.
fish and everything. Oh man. Well,
Well,
Thomas, how are you doing, man? We're always talking about Taylor's exploits and left and right, and how's the world of froth these days, man? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, thanks, dude. I play that maybe a couple times a month still. Not as much as I used to, but still fun. I have been like doing a little bit more regular golf just for fun.
Real
The guy that I
golf,
pastor
okay.
with, he likes to golf, so that's been kind of one of our fun activities to do together every once in a while.
What's your favorite
But,
club? Like, what's your favorite thing to hit with?
I'm gonna say I can hit my pitching wedge really far. For the golfer, I can hit my pitching wedge 150 yards.
No way.
Yeah.
Would you just, dude? I dare you to just play a whole game with just a pitching wedge.
I've sometimes I've had a round that's going so terrible, I just start only hitting the pitching.
Just think I'm going back to old reliable. There's guys that only play with like 9s.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I've never heard of anybody.
Do you golf,
playing,
Taylor?
I have begun dabbling.
Oh, gosh.
No.
It's
All
both of
right.
you
Next time you're in
guys.
town, I'll hit the links.
Yeah.
Oh,
We'll get John out
man.
there. We can figure out a way to make John think it's cool.
It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard.
I bet I could do it.
No,
I could
dude.
figure it out.
What better sport is just going out with your homies and swearing at the grass every time you mess up, every time you hit, and just getting frustrated and drinking Arnold Palmers.
Oh, the desert is so inhospitable for golf. I don't know,
Dude.
It's just
What was the temperature today? Like 75 degrees the entire day?
not today. I mean, I took a walk today. I'm probably like getting close to doxing myself, but I took a walk to an artificial lake in a park near my part of the city. I'm not gonna say which because I don't want freaking people showing up at my door. But it was beautiful.
Nice walk by
And
the
this
lakeside.
lake has been just absolutely crapped on by the whole city. Oh, it's not a real lake. I'm from Minnesota. I used to swim in the lake with my sister like a weirdo. Okay, here's the thing. It's not a great lake, but it's amazing. And I went there today and like the sun was setting and there were people just fishing, looking for rainbow trout. I was like, I love this, man. I'm going to come here all the time. So shout out to Artificial. And I had to have this thought. I was like, this is not something the Lord made, but the Lord inspired it. And that's good enough for me.
Right.
So
Yep.
thank you, Lord. And whoever filled this hole with water.
The imago Dei inside of the people that made it. Really,
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. Also, Thomas, I did catch your little trick there earlier. So noted, sir. If I get shot by an obsessed fan,
By an listener.
that's gonna sit,
Dude,
that's
you have
gonna
a
sit on your
higher
conscience for a
likelihood-
long time.
You have a higher likelihood of getting shot by somebody at that park, sir. And anyone in Tucson that's
It's
figured
true.
out which park we're
And
talking
they already
about,
know.
exactly, they
already
know.
They know that there's one type of thing you can catch in that that
Yeah,
lake,
it's
and
hands.
or
Yeah.
it's an actual body.
Yeah.
Which has been found
Gosh.
in good old Lakeside Lake. So whatever. All right. I love the East
Yeah.
Side, bro. What can I say?
Sorry I
All
missed
right.
you guys on the last pod. Thanks for going without me.
Yeah, man, we missed you
Yeah.
too. It was a good episode. What did we talk about? Oh, the
Great
Great
Schism.
Schism. Gosh. What a
Tommy, what'd you
heavy
think
hitter.
when you listened back to the episode?
Any notes for us, man?
I
Yeah.
did go look at the comments, and from the comments, I could tell it was a great episode.
Okay. All right. Hey, listeners, why don't you let us know how you feel about Thomas never listening to our episodes? I've listened to
Yeah.
every episode, just because I've been in every episode. I don't listen to all of them, but yeah.
Well,
Just-
by that rubric, I've listened to about 75%.
Okay, 80 to 90%. Thank you. Give yourself a little more credit. Yeah, but
we had so many comments.
we did.
I'll do
We had a
shout
lot of
outs real quick.
comments. Yeah,
Shout out
yeah. Let's do some shout outs.
Anthony, Elliot, Mike Duell again, Thomas's long lost cousin. Shout out Jackson, Enoch, Jacob Andrew. Sorry. All right, Jake. LM and LM.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you guys. We love it's literally become one of my highlights where we get these random little comments popping up, stirring up conversation and such. It's always a good time. So yeah, keep it going. Tell a friend. Oh dude, I need to check this. I think we are very close to having 1,000 followers on Spotify. Last time I checked, we were like 2 dozen away.
It's so dramatic. I can hear you like clicking away in the background. What are we at?
Let me check.
The tension is rising.
Dude, 997.
Oh my gosh.
Man,
Guys,
we are
we hit it
inches
this week.
away.
We hit it
Oh.
this week.
Yeah, I
So
think we do.
please,
Yeah,
if you have not followed us, follow us. Tommy, have you followed us?
Yeah.
and don't unfollow us, please.
Tommy
Like-
Tommy did not sound so sure.
I'll prove it to you. I'll
I
prove
believe
it.
you.
I can prove
I
it.
believe
It's
you.
fine. It's fine. We don't need. It's like you don't vote for yourself when you're running for office. You just
Yeah,
you
you
just gotta wait for
Yes,
the
you
people
do.
to do it. No, you don't.
No. Yeah, you go.
Boom,
Well,
follow 'em.
tonight
Wow.
Are we starting? Are we good to start? We've already
let's
done
run
our.
it. Let's
We
run it.
plugged our socials.
Yeah.
We've done shout outs. We've talked about golf.
Oh, dude,
and
we haven't done a haiku in a very long time, and it's because no one has offered us any money. And I'm sorry, but no money, no haikus. That's how it works. We don't.
That's the one piece of content we'll deprive you people from.
We will not write our crappy poetry unless you throw your dollar bills in our direction.
That's right.
Man, makes us seem like dancers.
All right. Well, you guys do these amazing cold opens, right?
Thank you.
But I just want to read a little bit of a thing for us to get us going. A little start. This is I'm actually not going to tell you who wrote it or when it's from, but I think it's important.
Okay.
The question of how Christians are treated in the Holy Land is a political question. And it is because much of what happens in this region is funded by us, our own taxpayers, military action, but also the cultural and religious life of the region is founded to a great extent by the church. And so the question that we've asked for some time now is, what's the outcome? How are Christians in the Holy Land doing? Are they thriving or are they suffering? The truth has become pretty obvious over the past couple of years, which is, in Israel, they are not thriving.
Benjamin Netanyahu.
I wonder, what do you guys think?
Was that Tucker Carlson?
It was Tucker Carlson. It was Tucker
Oh,
Carlson.
That's so funny because I was gonna say I was gonna make up a Jewish name to say, but it was Tucker Carlson.
That's a Shlomo Wernstein, man.
And then
So that was Tucker Carlson Facebook post today, roughly 6 hours ago.
Oh, okay. Wow.
And that just popped up on my feed. I don't even follow Tucker Carlson, but it made me think there's something now in the water. And I think this is very interesting. We live in a very, very interesting time. We see anti-Semitism on the rise again. We've seen, if you are on any sort of religious TikTok, you've seen the Deus Vult going around and the kind of this, we want to have a second crusade, or not a second crusade,
like a seventh crusade.
A seventh crusade, a modern crusade has been kind of going around. And the meme culture has now sort of adopted this. And it all sort of is centering around what's happening to Christians in the Holy Land. And I thought, my goodness, this is such a good time for us to really be doing this series, I think.
Okay.
So I don't have the ability nor the gumption.
I think that's why, by the way, I think that's why people voted for this, for the Crusades. Not just because it's interesting, but because it is a little bit of a broader conversation right now.
Sure. Yeah.
I know we're church history for chumps, and good historians never dare get too close to the sun of modern times because there's so many moving parts it's impossible to keep track of. But I think there's some serious parallels here, but there's also some very significant historical distinctions between what was going through the mind of your average knight in France that's stitching the Templar cross onto his shirt, and say Tom from Florida sharing a meme about wanting to invade the Middle East again. And I think there's some probably similar feelings. I think people are maybe frustrated. They're scared. They're seeing what's happening to Christians, and they say, I have some brotherhood in that. I think there's probably some misplaced anger in these things. There's some false hopes probably. But what I want to do today is walk us back into the mind of the first Crusaders, and then look very in detail at Pope Urban as he sort of walks onto the scene in 1095 And we talked about the speech of Clermont, I think last month, or the Council of Clermont, where he finishes their ecclesiastical meeting, and then he goes outside and he calls everybody up, and he has all sorts of nobles there and hundreds of people in attendance, and this is when he calls for the first crusade. So what we're going to do, we're going to look at some history, and then we're going to dive deep into the primary source, Robert the Monk's account. So I think before I dive in, you guys have anything else before we sort of start telling our little story?
I mean, this is a big moment because we've spent basically the last like 5 weeks just kind of stretching out on the sidelines, and this is really where the sounding gun is going off, and we're headed for the races. So this is it. This is the beginning. This is,
That's right.
Urban II he's the harbinger. He's not the one who set up the dominoes, but he is one of the fingers to push the first one over. So yeah, this
Dude
is
just
big.
used like 5 analogies in 20 seconds.
Come on, man, you got to
I
keep
love
up, bro.
Yeah, that's so funny. So Urban, actually, you said he was the one that pushed the domino, and I think that's a really good way to put it, because Gregory the Seventh in 1074 actually sets up the dominoes. He does a test run. And this is where I think the modern parallels really make you go, oh, dang, like what's happening in our time? Because Gregory the Seventh in 1074 actually calls for, like, one might say, the first crusade, but nothing happens, obviously. And so it's not for 21 years later. So I actually have, this is Pope Gregory the Seventh, who, if you want to go down a little ecclesiastical rabbit hole in your own research, look up what was going on with the papacy right before Urban. Because you had this clash with Henry IV and the Pope, and it was all over who gets to place people in their ecclesiastical positions.
Henry was the Frankish king, is that right?
Holy Roman Empire.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, and so it's called the investiture controversy. So
Okay.
if you want to follow a rabbit hole and just have some fun little reading on your own, that's really interesting. And I didn't have time to sort of like dive into the whole thing, because that would have taken up a whole nother episode. But essentially, the investiture controversy is trying to it's a battle between the government and the church. And ultimately, I think the church ends up winning. Which sets the stage, once again, the dominoes being put up, sets the stage for Urban to be able to come and do this. But there's other factors. So I do want to read here. This is from Gregory the Seventh in 1074. I'm not going to read the whole letter, but just a couple. So we hereby inform you that the bearer of this letter, on his recent return from across the sea, from Palestine, came to Rome to visit us. He repeated what we had heard from many others, that a pagan race had overcome the Christians, and with horrible cruelty had devastated everything almost to the walls of Constantinople, and were now governing the conquered lands with tyrannical violence, and that they had slain many thousands of Christians as if they were but sheep. If we love God and wish to be recognized as Christians, we should be filled with grief at the misfortune of this great empire, the Greek, and the murder of so many Christians. But simply to grieve is not our whole duty. The example of our Redeemer and the bond of fraternal love demand that we should lay down our lives to liberate them. That sounds eerily similar to another speech at Clermont that we talked about a month ago, doesn't it? So you have Gregory sort of testing the waters, and there's a whole discussion on why that doesn't work and why that sort of falls on deaf ears. A lot of it is that controversy between the two. The papacy was not as strengthened then. But I think the modern parallel here are the memes dominoes being set up. You know what I'm saying? That's why we study history. I mean, one, it's fun, but like aside from us having kind of our nerdy fun with like going through primary sources that were written 1,000 years ago, the question really is like, how do these lessons and wisdom? How does this apply to our time? And maybe we can grow. And that's what I've been wondering. I'm wondering, like, are the meme lords and the Tucker Carlson questions? How are Christians doing in Israel?
Mhm.
What's going on over there? I wonder, are those dominoes being set up? What
Mhm.
do you guys think? What do you think?
It's hard to discern, but partially because the way of the meme is like this double-edged sword where
Live
we're
by the meme, die by the meme.
kind of, because it's like in some ways we're like the most unserious generation ever, like in the world, right? Like there's this
Yeah,
there's like this dark irony that kind of is the undercurrent to how memes work. Um, but at the same time, it's it's a legitimate form of communication still. Like it's not just because there's an unserious kind of vibe to it. Memes are how elections are won now. It's
that's
how
right.
popular opinion is shifted. So I do think it's something to take seriously. I do think that there's more than memes going on as well. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I would draw a full parallel to Tucker Carlson talking about Israel to these popes talking about Israel.
Mhm.
There's some big differences, I
Oh,
think.
well, I mean, these popes are referencing like actual massacres, right? So,
Mhm.
yes, there's never one for one. But I think what we want to try to understand is what the people of France, as they were called to participate in this first crusade, what would have been going through their minds.
Mhm.
So we have to remember, so they're like, they didn't call themselves feudal at the time, but they're in the height of the feudal system right now. So in their mind, like they're just this spread out little thing that y- you don't travel more. I think I read more than 50 miles. Most people didn't travel more than 50 miles from their home or their place of birth.
Mhm.
You're pretty much waking up and you're working the land. And Monty Python and the griminess that they portrayed is a lot more accurate than I think we want to give people credit for.
Mm.
Mhm.
Like, it was not a pleasant experience.
Mhm.
Uh, you maybe had a priest that was maybe put there by a cardinal that was maybe there by Rome, attached by Rome. So there was just so many little pieces, and they didn't really necessarily even care who was king. And all of a sudden, very rapidly, these authority structures are forming, and you now have the Pope coming into France in 1095, 21 years after Gregory, and he's entering a country where the people value this idea of pilgrimage,
Mhm.
they value holy relics, and they're all super superstitious and terrified of going to hell.
Yeah, I was gonna say they all have this huge guilt complex too, right? Like, wasn't this like the height of sociological, like, I'll do anything for penance, please. I don't want to burn
Yeah.
in eternity forever. Yeah.
Right, right. And so you have these people feeling this, experiencing this, right? The this is everything that we just talked about. That's the people that the Pope is walking into the room to talk to, walking into the country to talk to. And then you have on top of that what was actually happening in the Middle East.
Mhm.
You have these massacres and these reports, and you have Alexios writing to the Pope saying, "Help us." And then there was other reports. I don't remember who Gregory. It doesn't say. Gregory the Seventh, though, was referencing the same wars. I don't remember how that plea for help came to him. And keep in mind, this is Gregory's in 1074 is only 20 years removed from the schism,
Yeah.
the excommunication.
Mm-hmm.
So there wasn't, we talk about the schism as like, oh, is this break? I mean, sort of.
Yeah.
And then within 50 years, Alexios is writing Urban saying, hey, please help. So, and they had discussions about mending the bridges, but that's what's happening outside. And they don't know that. There's no cameras, there's no nothing. And so all it takes is the Pope having these reports. And yes, I have actually, I don't want to sound like I'm rambling here, but I do want to get this out there. On full disclosure, Tommy, I didn't say I didn't believe you when you did your episode on the brutality. I just thought maybe there was more to the story. And I wondered, and I did my own research, and I've read a ton about as unbiased sources as I can. Like, I didn't go to my church history book assigned by Gateway Seminary, right? I went to like as many like secular sources. And Thomas Asbridge, I think, is about as fair as you possibly can get. And this is his quote on sort of the motives for the crusade. As we talk about these people that Urban is inspiring, he says this: even so, more altruistic impulses probably also were at work. Many medieval popes seem to earnestly to have believed that they had a wider duty to protect Christendom. They also expected upon death to answer to God for the fate of every soul once in their care. So I think I've kind of come, if I had to like choose a spot, this is very convenient what I'm about to say. I'm landed I've landed firmly in the middle of like I think that there are good questions on the side of how widespread was the brutality. I think there's good questions on uh the side of like, well, would you want your Christian brothers going through that? Shouldn't we go do something about that? And I think if you all I'm trying to say is I understand how now, even if Pope Urban's motives were maybe not the purest, I think it's probably safe to say a lot of people went over there really thinking they were going to do some good.
Taylor, can I share that I actually also had a quote from Thomas Asbridge about this very same topic?
What? Oh my gosh. Okay,
No,
what
dude,
is
I
it?
swear.
What
When
is
you
it?
said Thomas, I was like, oh gosh, dang it, dude.
Hit me.
But no, this is from his The Crusades, the authoritative history of the war
How
for the
funny
Holy Land.
we both picked up that book.
It's a great book. It's very, very readable, listener.
Wait,
I would
this
agree.
is how
recommend
this
it.
is how synced up we are on our research, by the
I
way.
guess so.
We don't even know what each other's reading.
Yeah, and I do think in general, the more academic types versus like the seminarians tends to be a little bit more critical of the motives of the Christian leaders. So I do think there's maybe some room for bias. I've also seen some Christian historians who also seem critical, but I'll just read this quote. He said, Christians living under Muslim rule in the Levant were said to have been reduced to a state of slavery, prey to constant persecution. These unfortunates might suffer forced circumcision, protracted a lot of things that we don't need to repeat ourselves. Urban Pope Urban appears to have made extensive use of this form of graphic and incendiary imagery akin to that which, in a modern-day setting, might be associated with war crimes or genocide. His accusations bore little or no relation to the reality of Muslim rule in the Near East, but it is impossible to gauge whether the Pope believed his own propaganda or entered into a conscious campaign of manipulation and distortion. So
Oh,
his thing is like, I mean, he even went as far as to say that before 1095, the Christians, like in the East and West, did not have a unified view of Muslims as a solitary enemy, because there were times that they either coexisted, allied with one another. So he was like, no, this was definitely like a strong use of propaganda to make the Muslims out to be an enemy. Basically so that he could flex his power and reform more influence back to the papal state. Now, again, there's probably a lot of bias in that presentation, but I think it's worth noting at least that that is a
that's so
historical
funny. That's the
opinion.
duality of man right there.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Thomas, what do you got?
I'm a little confused by the two. That was the same scholar. Those statements seemed kind of antithetical to each other.
I don't
On the
think
one hand,
so.
he's saying that they were altruistic,
Yeah.
and then on the other hand, he's saying that it was propaganda.
Well, I think
Well, he even
I
said
think he's saying they had good intentions, but their good intentions did not mean that they were necessarily doing good things to, like, I think they did have a good desire, but I also think he was exaggerating. Like, there probably were bad things happening, but I think he exaggerated the scale of it because he
Well,
had
he even
ulterior
says-
motives.
Yeah, he even says he doesn't know if Pope Urban believed his own propaganda.
Right. Which means
Yeah.
that
I
he may
wonder-
have been well intended.
I wonder what makes him say that. Like, what indication would we have that Pope Urban didn't believe what he was talking about?
Well, he's saying he doesn't know. I think what he's saying, and I had another, I won't read the quote, but Christopher Tyerman, who's another very extensive historian, he also presented some skepticism about the validity of Urban and Alexios's comments, basically just saying, like, aside from what they said, and even like Taylor and I mentioned earlier, there is no record specifically of what Alexios or the sermon at Claremont. There's a lot of people saying what happened after the fact because it became this like ground shaking moment. But yeah, there's just not a lot of evidence to go alongside what they said.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'd have to go back and I've seen too many primary sources already from both Christian and Muslim writers talking about what we would qualify as war crimes from this time period, at least.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know. I'd have to go look again to see like specifically what they're talking about. I think a lot of what Urban was calling them to, if I remember correctly, it's like a combination of talking about war crimes in Anatolia, modern day Turkey, but then also appealing to them based off of like the Holy Sepulchre being under the Muslim thumb and wanting to, call them to liberate the Holy Land. But I don't know. I'm still pretty firmly convinced from what I've read that there were pretty atrocious things happening both in Anatolia and the Holy Land at this time. I'm kind of agnostic so far on what exactly Urban's motives may have been. I definitely am not beyond like the ability to say like, yeah, like popes historically are in a position of a lot of power, and when you have a lot of power mixed in with human nature, there's definitely things that can go wrong there. I'm a little bit more interested in what was actually happening in Anatolia and in uh, Palestine, but then what were the motives of the people who actually went over there?
Right.
And and carried out this crusade.
Well,
And
I
I'll
oh,
get
go
into
ahead, go
that
ahead.
some more when I think in a couple episodes I'll be doing one on Godfrey, Duke Godfrey of Bouillon. And I've got some good stuff on things that he did that I think will bring some clarity to kind of like where their headspace is at. Some of the
Mhm.
guys who are actually going to march over there.
Yeah, and it's not like, it is the complexity of history and the variety of different resources and testimonies means that, like, the three of us don't necessarily need to come to, like, the same opinion of what happened. I think it's just worth noting that there seem to be conflicting reports in certain areas.
Well,
I
And
think
I'll
that's
yeah.
say
just worth
this. I
noting.
think that it's anytime you have a war in history, there's kind of two things at play. One is, was it a just war? And Christians have framework for this. Augustine is important in history for articulating just war theory. But then uh, even if you have a just war, if you have a whole army of people heading out to war, there's going to be a variety of people in that army. You're going to have people marching for selfish gain, or because they want to do bad things, under the umbrella of just war. And then you're going to have people who also marching under the umbrella of just war are there because they really believe in the cause and they want to do good. And I think in the Crusades, what we're going to find is that you have both. You've got good men that want to do good things and help their Christian brothers and sisters, and then you're going to have people who want to take advantage of the
Yeah.
situation.
I think that I mean, it's a mess, right? There's no way that it's not a mess, and I think it's hard for us to we want to have a clean verdict, and I think you're right, Tommy, that there's people with good motives that whether they're theologically correct in their valuing of a pilgrimage or whatever, that's not a bad thing to say. Hey, I just want Christians to be able to make their pilgrimage to Jerusalem safely, which was a motive of some of the Crusaders, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
Um, and so if we'll get, I think this is a really good discussion, but we also got to respect the clock.
Yeah, no, let's
So
push ahead.
if we'll get back in to the mindset of the people hearing Urban's speech, as I said, they were people that valued the idea of a pilgrimage. They thought that this was something that was very important for their penance, for their sins, their remission of sins. They've greatly valued not just the pilgrimage, but the relics of past saints. We kind of saw this mindset when we did our series on the fate of the apostles, and just how all over medieval Europe you would have people popping up saying, "I have this relic, I have this relic, I have this relic." And they valued the relics. They thought that there was healing power to them. I think we can see the same mentality in South America right now.
Mhm.
They love their relics. And then on top of that, they believed that the Pope was so powerful, so close to God, that he had the ability to forgive their sins effectively. That there was this it was an indulgence. Their understanding of the gospel at this point is so far removed and, dare I say, perverted from what our patristic fathers were talking about in the 4th century. This is almost a different Christianity.
Mm.
This is much closer to kind of a ritualistic paganism, dare I say,
Mm.
than true Christianity. Uh, there's nothing about relics in the Bible. There's and I'm not even throwing shade on the sacramental system. I'm not going to go there. I have enough grace and understanding of there's people, Baptists say that the ordinances, just the commands of Christ, and they'll say they're symbolic, and then people more in Catholic and Reformed traditions and Orthodox, honestly, Protestants are the only ones on that.
We
By
wash our hands of that relic business.
we're by ourselves of that. Uh the Catholics also had sacraments going on, and we could talk about if, yeah, you're still participating in something that's efficacious in a way for your sins. But the point is, real good godly Christianity was hard to come by at this point in time. I would say so. Thomas, you look like you want to say something.
I I guess it'd be complex. I agree with the critiques you're making of the Roman Catholic system of doctrine, but I'm not sure I would go so far as to say good and godly Christianity was hard to come by.
That's a fair
I don't know if I go there.
Well, we'll find out, I suppose, as we read more sources and read more journals of and things of people that
Taylor, would you say that more or less off the basis of just like the values that you're, because like, you know, to Protestants like us, having this, I've been to places where like they have relics behind like bulletproof glass, and for me that just doesn't compute because I don't see that. So do you say that because, you know, you don't see the type of like humble charity, kindness that we attribute to Christianity, or is it because like you see these practices that just feel very, and I think a lot of even like modern Catholics would not look back on this time and be like, what a healthy time in church history. They would probably say, no, this was, you know, a little rough around the edges. But I don't know.
Are you asking why I would level these critiques at the church right now?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I think there's a very simple, straightforward answer, is like, outside of a few voices that we have remaining, like Anselm is from this time, solid guy, right? That's it. I mean, none of these guys in charge of the church knew what was going on. And and there's these arguments that like, well, the underground church always existed. I think that's true, probably. There's not very
Mormonism.
No, not Mormonism. I'm talking
in South
about
America.
the Baptists, the heritage of the Baptists. No, look, there's good Christians that obviously Christ always preserves like a remnant of the church, but whatever we're seeing happening in
Taylor's like, there was no Baptists in the Crusades. We were on the right side of history.
We were, amen. We were
You won't find a single Baptist in the Crusades.
We were hiding in the mountains.
What you need to understand is before the Reformation, 6 inches beneath the earth, there's this primordial ooze that the Baptists will one day emerge out of.
Yeah. That's right. And that's where Joe Baptist came from. Anyway, dude, I just don't see anything in like the church as a whole, the capital C church, Rome, is such a mess right now. And it has been for a while. And then I texted John Simon this week. I said, today I learned, TIL, what an anti-pope was. So here's a motive. We've talked about the Crusaders' motives, what they're going to hear, what they want to hear. Now let's talk about Pope Urban. He's got, because of...
Can I recap that real quick, just because I want to make sure we're on the same page?
Yes.
So you would say Crusaders' motives, you've got the good and godly ones who are like, we got to save our boys.
However, yes.
We've got the ones, as I did my reading on this passage, it sounded a little bit like the Suicide Squad, where they're like, we've got these dudes and they just love fighting and they love scrapping, and we're just going to try to like redirect that energy into like a noble cause.
No, don't even give them that. They're Western jihadists.
Okay, yeah.
They were promised heaven by the Pope.
Well, because that was the thing. They were told that by doing this, it was what was the exact phrasing of it? It was basically participating in something that would absolve them of their sins.
Correct.
That to be killed on the battlefield, seeking out a righteous means would mean that you would
Inshallah inherit 72 virgins.
Oh, that's gross. I hate that. Oh, I don't like that.
Had you not considered that that's what it was?
So you've got the jihadis, you've got the dudes trying to make $1 probably, and then you've got, humble Harold, just
humble Harold that just wants to see Jerusalem and walk where Christ walked.
Yeah, and save some people who he thinks are getting given a bad deal.
Yes. And
Okay.
unfortunately, it's the humble herald or the Baptist Joes of the world that just get ran over all the time. So, okay, Pope, I already talked about kind of the you can look up Gregory the Seventh if you want some extra homework this week. Urban was his boy. Urban was like the chief champion of all of Gregory the Seventh's reforms. And eventually he gets elected. He gets made Pope in 89. Is that right? Oh, did I? Okay, good. I did not close that. Yeah, Urban is made Pope in 88.
Yep, March 88.
89 is close enough off the top. So 6 years before his thing, right? Anyway, there's a guy named Clement III who has the title anti-pope. As I said, today I learned what an anti-pope was. Once again, another
Roman Catholic listeners, you might want to just turn it off right now.
I don't know.
You're not gonna like this.
So after Gregory the Seventh in his little adventures, he excommunicates Henry the Fourth. And Henry the Fourth then rallies all his people, and they say, "Well, we're going to elect our own pope. We're going to elect our own pope, and his name Clement."
So part of his move to get more powerful is he excommunicates the emperor of the Holy Roman Empire.
Correct.
That's amazing. See, that kind of makes it hard to say, like, the Crusades weren't about power. It was about being a good guy. But also, you're not part of the church anymore.
Yeah. Oh, dude.
Oh, man.
And remember what I said a month ago? At Clermont, they freaking excommunicated Philip, the King of France, in that. And then they were like, let's go to war, baby. Okay. So anyway, this is such a funny little line, and I think we've earned ourselves a little Wikipedia read. We've read enough books.
Do it. I'm here for
This
it.
was just, I love Wikipedia because they edit this crap meticulously. Anyway, Gregory was felt by many to have gone too far when he excommunicated the Holy Roman Emperor Henry IV. It's just this sort of like,
it's like contemporaries were a little.
That's just such a timid way of saying that. I love it. Was felt by many to have gone too far.
Yeah, that's somebody going, how can I write this in such a way that it doesn't get edited out of Wikipedia?
That's right. That's how you do it in the academic world. So, okay. Okay, so you have that. Now, this Clement III guy, the anti-pope, well, who gets to decide if he's an anti-pope and not the real pope? That's a question and a half, isn't it? And if you go through Google anti-pope list, and it's like all of church history.
I would have thought it'd be like 4 of them.
No, it's a lot.
Dude, that's crazy.
Gosh,
they had a schism from the East. They could have let the East pick the Pope.
I think I need to go to like a Saturday night mass for like 6 months straight just to like soften my heart towards Rome. Be like, you know what, Father Fred or whoever, is my local parish leader. He's a good guy.
Dude, I saw this meme the other day. I almost sent it to you guys. It was like lifelong converts, or no, lifelong Catholics are always like, I think we should give food to the poor. And then it's like adult converts to Catholicism be like, the Edict of Constantinople throughout the papal bull of 1864 clearly states that women should not serve in the military. And it's just like, so I'm like, I'm here for the first crowd. The second crowd,
I know,
whatever.
dude. You're so right. And I know people can come at the Baptists too. Not as much though. Honestly, the Baptists have really not killed that many people. Did we own slaves? Yep. We did. And that was wrong. And we said it. But nope.
Right. We've been against slavery for 15 years. So
okay. Anyway, you've got the anti-pope Clement III here, who is, on team Holy Roman Empire. He's hanging on as their pope. And I didn't even have time in all my rabbit holes I went down this week. It was pathetic. I was like laying in my hotel room in like South Carolina, like scrolling, reading my book, and then like, dozing off and like, oh, I gotta keep reading. Anyway, I did not get into the mechanisms of like, okay, so who's actually in charge? Like, who do the people listen to? It sounds like it was a headache.
Mm-hmm.
So Urban is contending with this guy. Okay. Urban wants to unite this feudal France into something. He's also, Pope Urban is from France, FYI. Here we go. We have Marshall Baldwin, A History of the Crusades, Volume 1. I think you can get this one for free on Internet Archives. I don't know. I have an eye disease, and I get extra special stuff on Internet Archives because of my eye disease. So it might be under extra special stuff. But here it is.
Wait, do you really?
Yeah.
You have like an eye disease? You just register on some eye disease website? You just
Yeah,
get
they're
free
like,
stuff.
okay, you poor thing, you can't read real books, so now you can zoom in. Now you can zoom into You can
Kinda
zoom
sick.
into 120
That's like
font.
blind reparations, dude. That's awesome.
Oh, dude, I got access to a whole bunch of stuff because of my eyes.
You'd think they'd give you audiobooks,
What are you
though,
talking about right now?
Tommy, we're talking about sources. Like, do you know what Internet Archives is, Tommy?
No,
feel like
what is the eye disease about?
I have keratoconus.
Oh no!
Is this real? Like, can you actually get more access to stuff? Like,
Yeah, I just filled out a little thing. I was like, hey, I got keratoconus. Can I have access, please? And then some guy who works for the government was like, okay, sure, here you go.
oh my gosh, that's amazing.
And then my librarian got me access to something else because I just had to send him a little like, I don't even remember. It was the shadiest thing. I called my old eye doctor, Catalina Eye Care, Tucson. I said, hey, I need proof of this surgery. And they were like, okay, what's your email? I'll send it to you later. And then like I got an email from I don't even think it was from at Catalina Eye Care. It was it was like Betsy14@gmail.com sends me an unnamed PDF. And it like, I shouldn't have opened it on my work computer, if we're being completely honest. But I took that gamble.
I need to be intersectionality maxing like Taylor here. Be like, I have like a herniated L5. I'd like free access to.
He's like,
Okay,
I'm too tall, and sometimes sedans are uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm actually blind. So this is Marshall Baldwin, A History of the Crusades, Volume 1. The two great complexes of institutions, the church...
Here, blind guy, here's a bunch of stuff you can read.
The church...
Why not audiobooks? Sorry.
The church and the feudal system.
That is kind of like giving a dude in a wheelchair like dancing shoes.
Let me read!
Actually, Taylor, if you could screen share, we're going to need to read it for you.
No, don't worry. It's at like 14 font zoomed in. Had achieved the strength of maturity without losing their capacity for further development and expansion. And it was the church and the feudal system that made the Crusades possible. So, we've chased so many rabbit trails. We don't even have time to read all of... Okay, I'm going to read something. This is... John Simon, did you say this on air beforehand that we actually don't have any record of like an immediate record from Urban?
From Claremont.
I don't know if you said that on air already, but he's right. We don't have a record of Urban at Claremont when he called everybody outside and it was the end of the council. They just kicked out King Philip of France. We don't have the immediate recording. Now we have people that claim to have been there. What we do have is some letters from Urban in 1095. Here's one of them. This is to the troops, I believe. So this is December 1095, right after the First Crusade is kicking off. Urban, bishop, servant of the servants of God, to all the faithful, both princes and subjects, waiting in Flanders, greeting, apostolic grace and blessing. What an intro. I'm gonna need you guys to start saying hi to me that way. Anyway,
Okay, Apostle Paul. Wow.
yeah, your brotherhood, we believe, has long since learned from many accounts that a barbaric fury has deplorably afflicted and laid waste the churches of God in the regions of the Orient. More than this, blasphemous to say, it has even grasped in intolerable servitude its churches in the holy city of Christ, glorified by his passion and resurrection. Grieving with pious concern at this calamity, we visited the regions of Gaul and devoted ourselves largely to urging the princes of the land and their subjects to free the churches of the East. We solemnly enjoined them at the Council of Auvergne. Auvergne. I can't read French. It's the most confusing Romance language. Such an undertaking as a preparation for the remission of all their sins. So there you have it already. Remission of sins. And that's the big difference between what Gregory said when he called for his first crusade. He had not gotten there yet theologically.
So it sounded like, I think you framed this well. There was kind of a perfect storm of all of this. Like he touched on, because this was a population that was very Christian in terms of like identity, but they were very afraid of going to hell, which same. They were very big on relics. They were very big on pilgrimage, and they were in this feudal state. And like I said, these dudes were like, they were gearing up, ready to go. They had all this, like, I think it was Ryan Reeves who basically said that the issue with the feudal states was that they were kind of primed. They had class systems primed for warfare, but when they didn't have anything to fight, they had all this idle, anxious energy. Like you have all these,
dude, I didn't even get into
basically,
that. Yes.
yeah, you got all these like hormonal frat boys who are just like, like benching 325, who just need something to do because they've, they're not married yet, they're not settled down.
You are so right. I did not put that in my notes, but yes, in the feudal system, in France in particular, where it is finally settled, they were fighting constantly. And now you have this sort of stability starting to enter. And in that stability, now you have all these angsty, you have a class of people, the knights, that are really set up to constantly be fighting. So you're right. Now Pope Urban's coming along saying, hey, I got something for you to do, and it's a good cause. It's a good cause. You're gonna go get to see the city of Christ himself. And boys, I'm gonna forgive your sins. How does
Honestly,
that sound? I don't know why he suddenly got more southern as his speech went on.
Consider
and
your
Papa, gonna take care of you now.
Consider those sins dismissed.
Dismissed. Can I get a hallelujah?
Oh,
Or can I get a
sounds
Deus
awesome.
Vult?
I mean, like, taking that interpretation, which again is one historical way to view it, like, I'm a young dude, full of testosterone, just ready to go see the world, kill some people, which I love doing because I'm bred for violence, and I get to go to heaven if I get killed. Like, this kind of sounds like a sick deal.
These are the Western jihadists.
Yeah, I don't
And then,
know.
as we said, then you have, Baptist Bob, who's ready to like
Humble Harold.
Harold, humble Harold. Guys, we gotta go do something. We gotta save our brothers. And then you got Meathead Steve. Yeah, let's go save our brothers. As long as I get to kill somebody.
And I'm sure that for the sake of nuance, there was overlap. Like, I'm sure there were plenty of dudes who were meatheads, but still inspired by piety. And there were, I don't know. I mean, like there were, I think I read a couple clips of, again, we don't have the sermon from Claremont, but people who wrote it down 15 years later who were there. And he's saying things like, you're going to get rich from this. Like, you're going to be able to pillage healthily from this if you succeed. So we can't, I do think we can understate the piety, which I think to Thomas is very important. I do think we can understate the piety, which would be problematic, but I also don't think we can remove the fact that things like financial gain and the forgiveness of sins were 100% motivators for these guys, because that's what the Pope
Yes.
and leaders were doing.
You said, "Is this the perfect storm?" This is like the most perfectest of stormists in history, dude.
Yeah.
Like, you have actual war crimes being, committed against the Church of the East. You have Pope Urban, who's got a mess on his hands, trying to retain power and trying to continue the work of Papa Gregory VII of kind of creating more papal authority. And then you have the people in the countryside ready to go do something.
Mm-hmm.
So it is, as you said, it is a perfect storm. It's the perfectest of all the storms. And we don't have time to read.
Yeah.
This is fine. Hey, if I already gave the listeners their own little homework, yeah, look up Gregory VII and kind of what he was up to. If you want, read Robert the Monk's take on what had happened at Clermont. I'm just going to jump to the end of the letter, if that's okay with you boys.
Can I say one thing that I think will
No,
probably lay up?
absolutely
It'll be a
not.
layup for you. It's going to be helpful.
Okay, I changed my mind.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Pope Urban did not expect the response to be nearly as big as it was. I think he expected there to be like a few hundred, maybe like a couple thousand, like kind of like really raring to go dudes to like come around. But again, because it was such a perfect storm, because it scratched at so many societal itches, and because word of mouth spread like crazy and people were primed for it, like there were 20 to 30,000 foot soldiers who headed in that direction within 10 years of, within I think 24 months of the first speech at Clermont.
And that's not even including the People's Crusade, right?
Right.
You've got like the main army, and then it catches on culturally, and just tons of just mechanics and bakers.
Yeah.
Like head out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we don't. What did the People's Crusades end up doing, Tommy? What was their little claim to fame?
Totally slaughtered.
Oh, they went and killed a bunch of Jews. They got like stuck on the way, and we're like, "What are we doing?" Oh yeah, we hate the Jews. We don't look. Yeah. Oh,
where are we? It's not the start.
Doesn't matter. Kill the Jews. Oh, I shouldn't yell that at seminary housing. President Gross is going to be like, "Hey Taylor, can you come up to my office, bud?"
Yeah, what were you screaming about killing the Jews?
You get a memo in your inbox tomorrow. This
is Robert the Monk. When Pope Urban had said these, and this episode's been so unhinged, and very many similar things in his urbane discourse. That's such a funny translation. He is so influenced to one purpose, the desires of all who were present, that they cried out, "It is the will of God, it is the will of God." When the venerable Roman pontiff heard that, with eyes uplifted to heaven, he gave thanks to God, and with his hand commanding silence said, "Most beloved brethren, today is manifest in you what the Lord says in the gospel, where 2 or 3 are gathered together in my name, there I am in the midst of them." Great hermeneutics, by the way. Great hermeneutics. Unless the Lord God has been present in your spirits, all of you would not have uttered the same cry. That's what the Mormons say. For although the cry issued from numerous mouths, yet the origin of the cry was one. Therefore I say to you that God, who implanted this in your breasts, has drawn it forth from you. Let this then be your war cry in combats, because this word is given to you by God. When an armed attack is made upon the enemy, let this one cry be raised by all the soldiers of God. It is the will of God. It is the will of God. Or as they say in Latin, Deus vult, Deus vult.
Or Deus low volt, if you want to be really, accurate.
Hey, John Simon.
Hey, what's up,
Shut
man?
up. Shut up.
Sorry, I'm the language guy.
Yeah, that was Taylor's cold close, if you couldn't tell.
I know, it is.
That whole thing was hot start to finish. He
His
didn't have
whole thing, yes,
nothing
dude.
told in that whole thing.
I know. And like, dude, this is what I'm saying is, guys, if we have any of our little modern crusaders listening, just listen to this like manipulation. You felt it in your bosom. Oh, you felt it in your bosom. That's the Holy Spirit moving you.
You get that shiver in your spine.
Taylor's like, if only these guys had heard of the Second London Baptist Confession of Faith.
Come on, people. Yeah.
Well, I
Didn't they
remember
read the article on salvation?
Liberty of conscience.
They literally used this. I mean, in like, yeah, whatever. Lot to say, but they used the language where they would asking people to like, because you had to. This wasn't just like you could jump on a bus. Like to do this, you had to sell your stuff. You had to like. It was a full life commitment.
They put laws in place that if you touch, like you would be excommunicated if you touched a crusader's belongings.
Oh, interesting.
So,
okay.
Yeah, so
it probably was different based on where they were. I'm sure
if
regionally
Pete
it was
closed up
different.
shop and like locked everything up, and then he came back home and
it was
found
ransacked.
Yeah, there was consequences to be paid for sure.
But they used language of like they would say when they were asking like a young man, are you going to join the Crusades? They would ask like, will you be taking up the cross? Like they use this language of like, will you be taking the cross to Jerusalem? Kind of like this language of like, it is part of your duty as a Christian to do this. So will you be answering the call to fight alongside Uncle Urban because he wants you?
They literally told people to sew a cross into your clothing when you were going on crusade and don't take it off until you come back. And this is the last line in Robert the Monk. Such indeed by the twofold action will fulfill the precept of the Lord as he commands in the gospel. He that taketh not his cross and followeth after me is not worthy of me.
Yeah.
They are manipulating scripture left and right here, people. Not good.
I mean, I mean, even beyond the political side, I'm like, I don't, even if we're arguing the whole just war, holy war, etc., I don't know if a holy war can still be tied into that commandment. Like, I don't know, man.
Dude, look, in modern day, it would not actually be that hard for a charismatic enough guy who's likable enough to get up and say, hey, especially when, pretend ISIS didn't get obliterated by Obama's drones, right? Like if ISIS actually had taken over something, it would not be hard at all to say, guys, we need people to enlist. They're doing awful things to Christians and other humans. Go do something about it. Like that's enough to get people to go like, yeah. But
that's what happened after 9/11. A lot of people joined the military after 9/11.
That's right. I'm grateful we live in a country that has the firepower to just decide to kill bad guys. And like, did you guys see that headline as we ran this crazy plane? Like, there was a bunch of ISIS or something in the Congo. Was it in Congo?
Was it really?
Yeah, and the military just destroyed them. They were like killing Christians, and it was Nigeria. It was Nigeria.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, they got a warning to stop. They didn't stop. And then, yeah, I just, a bunch of predators with thermal vision flew over and said night night. And there's something good about that, I think, right? And like the bad guys can be taken care of quickly. We don't have to lie to a bunch of people to get them on a ship. Put all your your stuff in storage, Tommy. Let's go. If anybody touches that storage unit, they're excommunicated. You don't have to worry about that.
By the First Baptist Church of the IE.
That's right.
When I was in clinical pastoral education, which is what chaplains do to whatever, what chaplains do. I was in a course with a Nigerian guy, and he was a Nigerian Catholic priest. So Taylor would have double hated this guy. And
What
so
the heck?
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. You got astray. I'm sorry. But it was so funny because a big part of clinical pastoral education, which if you're curious about, listeners, just send me a message. Don't just jump into it. I've got a whole lot of thoughts about it. But it's
Don't do
very
what
much
I
about
did.
like kind of realizing how your own personal story and experiences may affect how we treat and help others with their own stuff. And so it was very like, I'll be very open about what you're experiencing and stuff like that. And so, somebody would go on and they'd be like, yeah, I was talking to this person and it really made me think about, like, let's say, for example, like, my cat's sick and, like, I really wanted to be present with this person in the hospital, but my cat's sick. I just been thinking about that all day and it's really hard. And then my dude would come on and he'd be like, yeah, it's just hard because, like, another church got burned down in my neighborhood back at home, and and it's just like,
Yeah.
Muslims are, destroying stuff in my country, and it's like, oh, okay, all right, well, sorry about your cat, Kathy, but like,
Yeah.
it just brings things into
Nigeria's a
perspective.
tough place right now.
Yes. And isn't it nice that we don't have to crusade anymore? And the United States government is in a good place that kills bad guys. See, okay, look, you guys are uncomfortable with that statement. I know you are. You're like, oh,
Well,
who
But
gets
you're
to...
No,
calling it a holy war. You're saying like,
I
oh, isn't
No.
it good that they're able to just like kill evil people? And
It's
I'm
not
like, I
holy
think
war.
it's
It's
more
so much...
complicated than that.
It's more simple than that. Our government, thank the Lord, has people that say, don't kill Christians in this barbaric manner. They said, no, we're going to keep doing it. And then we said, okay, good night. Like, it's not a holy war. It's just, it was an airstrike, baby.
Holy airstrike, then.
It wasn't holy. Well, maybe it was. I don't know. Look, I'm just saying, it's a simple little acknowledging of the Imago Dei in people. And when you violate that and we do something about it, that's nice. That's a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
Tommy, come on, Tommy. If anyone is ever going to back me up on something, it has to be you right now.
First of all, my recording track changed, so sorry if my voice sounds different. But I'm in agreement. I think that just war theory applies here. I just think that it kind of, in some ways, is antithetical to everything that you just said in the rest of the episode.
Not a chance.
But-
Not a chance.
I wish that you hadn't brought this up at an hour and 11 minutes.
Guys, the early church fathers believed that the just war was the one that we fight right in here. And I want you guys to think about that.
He pointed to his heart, listeners that are on audio.
Yeah.
I'm more
For
concerned
we war
about
not against flesh and blood, Thomas Duell, but against principalities, powers of darkness.
I'm more concerned about just the way weapons like that when they can get used so quickly. The target can change pretty easily.
I agree
I'm all for governments stopping Muslims that are killing Christians anywhere. But like John said, I think it's a complex thing. But we can talk more about it another time. Post show.
And we'll just go back to history. We don't talk about modern events.
Guys, I think the most important thing to remember is that Thomas ended by agreeing with me. And with that, we love you guys. And we appreciate you guys. Even and you know what? We welcome the diversity of opinions. That's just good old history right there. All right, we love you guys, and we'll talk to you next week.
Bye-bye.